In life, there are always people ahead of us, and there are always people below us as well. Let us utilize the spirit of competition to pace ourselves. But ultimately, let's strive to that point where we find that our biggest enemy is our own self.
In this world, competition and comparison is a fact of life. Everywhere we see this, and sometimes it impedes us in giving our best in that particular instance or situation. How do we handle this, comparative and competitive life?
Pooja, those who are effective people, who are moving ahead in life, they are always competing with themselves. In other words, their philosophy is that I must do today more than I was able to do yesterday. So their competition is with what they were doing previously. That is why the external competition really doesn't matter. In other words, they are self-motivated. But it's not easy to function from that level. And most people do get inspired by competition. Somebody was telling me that in their company, they had this scheme where the company was giving them machines to measure their steps and suggesting to them to take 10,000 steps every day, which is the recommended for good health. Some were following it, some were not. So for 1 month, they started a competition between two departments. And immediately people's steps went up. That spirit of competition was bringing out the best in them. For 1 month, as long as the competition lasted, they were doing very well. But the moment the competition stopped, their performance again dropped. So competition is very often necessary to inspire us to peak performance. Now, of course, anything can have its downside as well. When does competition tend to get us down? When we take ourselves too seriously. One grandchild told his grandmother, "Oh, Dadi, you have defeated me again in the game of chess. Why do you always defeat me?" Grandmother said, "Do you want me to lose deliberately? If I do, then how will you learn?" He said, "I don't want to learn, I only want to win." Now that is not realistic. In life, there are always people ahead of us, and there are always people below us as well. When we take ourselves seriously, then we have this winning problem. Somebody went to a psychiatrist and said, I have got this problem in life and this tension and this anxiety. The psychiatrist was able to discover that this person's problems are arising out of his sense of pride. So he said, you go to the Qutub Minar. It's a huge tower in Delhi. Go to the Qutub Minar, look at it, and think. There are certain things that are bigger than me. I am not the biggest. This idea that I must always win is so unrealistic. Now take a look at the Devtas in the celestial abodes. Who can compete with Indra when it comes to fame? He is the king of the celestial abodes. Which wealthy person on our planet Earth can compete with Kuber, the god of wealth? And who can compete with Kamdev and his wife Rati when it comes to beauty? There will always be people ahead of us. There will always be people behind us. So let us utilize the spirit of competition to pace ourselves. In the running races, they always want somebody to pace them because they know when there's somebody who's pacing, then they'll be forced to give their best. But ultimately, let's strive to that point where we find that our biggest enemy is our own self, our laziness, the indolence of our mind and senses, and let us compete with ourselves with the idea of striving to manifest the full potential that God has placed in us, because that is what will be pleasing to God.
It was a transformational experience for me.
Truly life-changing and inspiring.
Participating in yoga and pranayama meditation, I could just let go of myself. It was just amazing.